Adam Lerner, and today I want to talk a little bit about film versus digital, or digital versus film. Sometimes when I tell people that I like shooting film, they say, why? What for? What's the point? There's a lot of qualities and characteristics to film that I just love. I mean, even just looking at these two portraits here, the one on the left was shot with a Nikon D700 and a 50mm f1.4 lens at 1.4. The shot on the right was shot with this Zenit. It's an old Russian film camera that I found at a flea market. It has a 58mm f2 lens shot at f2. And the reason why I shot them like that, I wanted to shoot them both at the maximum aperture. I set the ISO on my D700 to match that of the film speed that I was shooting. I wanted to shoot the maximum aperture so that I could have a similar depth of field, so that we were really just focusing on Jared's face and his eyes, and have the hand blown out and the background blown out. And you can see we've got that really super buttery bokeh. It almost looks granular in a lot of ways. And I just really wanted to try to do, as close to a comparison as I could do here. And, if we look at the film on the right here, you can see that there's so much kind of grit to it. And a lot of that is because when you are scanning a negative, you're actually, all of that grain is being scanned as digital information. So you've got all of that becomes pixels, and it adds to the density and the overall look of the image. And it actually becomes a component of your image. It's much in the same way that back in the day, or even today, a lot of people like to record music on tape because the tape has a quality. It's an instrument. It adds warmth. It adds a sound to the music. Even if you take that and you mix it down digitally, let's say, when you record to tape, you get that warmth. And the same thing I feel is true when you shoot to film. Even if you scan it digitally and then you manipulate it digitally, by capturing on that emulsion, you're just going to get a completely different look. You're going to get these rich blacks. You're going to get these incredible highlights. You're going to get a lot of detail that you're maybe going to miss digitally. You're going to get some grit. You're going to get some grain, and you're going to get all of those beautiful silvery tones that you're going to, that we have here. And I love silvery tones. I love all of those different grays and all that kind of stuff. And even when we're looking into these two images here, you can see the kind of detail, the resolution in the film version is really great. And that's not even a super high res scan. Now, had we scanned that negative, at 4,000 dpi with, let's say, a really high-end scanner, we would have like a 20 megapixel image here, which would be kind of on par with some of the higher end digital cameras out there. Okay, now granted, the D700 is a pretty high resolution camera, and if we look at the two, I took this image that I shot on the D700 on the left here. It was shot raw, of course, and I did a black and white conversion, and I did my best to kind of emulate the style of the scan of the image that was shot on film on the right here. But for whatever reason, for what it's worth, when I'm looking at these two images, I am always drawn to the image on the right. I just think it's got much more of a vibe. It's got more character. It's got more grit. I feel like the detail is it's just cooler. I don't know. I love it. I think it looks really, really awesome. And not to say that the image on the left doesn't work. I'm just not as drawn to that. And there's a huge resurgence for film right now. There's a lot of you guys out there that you might have a film camera laying around the house. Maybe your parents have one, maybe your granddad has one, your aunt, your uncle, your older brother, sister, whatever it may be. I feel that shooting film, it does a lot to inform your digital photography, because there are nuances that you're going to get when you're shooting film that you're not necessarily going to get when you shoot digitally. There's also technique involved. When you're shooting with a manual camera, where you really have to think about your exposure, where you have to manually focus that lens, where you really have to think, I've only got 36 frames or 24 frames on this roll of film here, and I want everyone to count as best as possible. Unlike when you're shooting with, on a memory card, and you can just click away and keep adjusting your settings and looking at the back of your camera. There's definitely a lot more thinking, I think, that's involved when you're shooting with film. And there's something about it that I feel is really special. Anyway, so I just really wanted to have just kind of a basic introduction to film versus digital. I wanted to illustrate that with two very, very similarly shot portraits. And I also wanted to, while we're here, I just wanted to just give a quick shout out to Jared. Jared, I want to thank you so much for helping me launch my YouTube channel, for sharing it with and promoting it to all of your followers. And at the same time, I want to thank the entire Fro community. I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel, for subscribing to my channel, for supporting my channel. I appreciate all the support. I enjoy getting your comments and all of your emails. And I look forward to what's to come. We have a lot more content coming up here as the weeks go on. So anyway, so that's it for now, and we will see you soon.